Welcome back. You're completing the second worksheet before you complete your retake. So let's go ahead and work on 7B. The first problem is asking you to match a graph to an equation. So I would like for you to circle the equation that matches the graph of the line. Now there's a few things we need to review. The first is that remember, we always have everything in the format of y equals mx plus b. The numbers that we change are m, and m represents your slope or your, let's see how we can do this, just one second, your change in y over your change in x. The b represents your y-intercept or where you start. Okay, those two things are very, very important. That's the key. Other than that, you'll have a letter Y and you have a letter X. So these are the two things you need to identify. Let's go ahead and start. The first thing that's easiest to start with actually is your y-intercept. So I'm going to put a little note here that says start with this. Start here. Okay. The reason is it's easy to identify. If I go to this graph over here and I see my y-axis, my y-intercept is where it's crossing the y-axis. It's right there. Now you can tell that my purple went over the number, but it is going to be 1, 2, 3. My number is 3 in that B location. That means automatically that this equation is out because at the end they have plus 1. We want plus 3 or plus 3. So those two equations are still in the running. Now let's go ahead and look. Our slopes are a little bit different. This first one is saying our slope is negative 1 over 2, and this second slope is saying negative 2. Friendly reminder, when we have a plain number such as negative 2, that equals negative 2 over 1. That means we go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. This up here for the slope for the first equation says down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. So let's see which pattern works. First of all, we're counting by ones on our y-axis and we're counting by ones on our x-axis. So if this is my first point and I go here to my second point, I need to see the pattern. So I need to count down first. I go down one floor or one level, and then I go over 2 and I'm on the line. If I do that same pattern, down 1, over 2, I'm on the line. So right away, I'm noticing this is the equation that is true. Remember, it goes rise or going up and down first. That goes on top. And then on the bottom is your run value. Okay. Another way you can solve for this is the change in y over the change in x. Here I have a point up here. And my ordered pair for that point is negative 2, 4. And I have a point way down here that I covered up in purple, of course. And that point is 4, 1. Now, when I do my change in y, remember the y value comes second. So what I would do is I would take 4 minus 1, which equals 3. Then I would take, negative 2 minus 4, which equals negative 6. 3 over negative 6 simplifies to negative 1 over 2. Okay? If you need a moment to copy this down, go ahead and pause the video. All right, here's the second problem, everybody. So what we have, they want us to write the letter of the graph next to the equation it represents. So the first thing we need to review, remember, is positives or negatives. A slope is negative if it starts high and ends low. Think of this like your money. In your money situation, this is like December, let's say, and this is January, February, March, April, May, June. You are losing money. Therefore, that is a negative situation. If we think of this other graph over here as our money, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, that is a positive situation. You are gaining money. So you want to think money is a nice quick way to kind of think of it. A negative graph starts high and ends low. And a positive graph starts low and ends high. The initial value, remember that is your y-intercept. So my initial value here for this first one, my y-intercept is right here, is at positive 2. Okay, remember we always want to start with that positive 2 at the end. Therefore, when I look at these two equations down here, plus 3 is automatically out. Plus 2 is this graph here. And if I check the slope, down 1 over 3, down 1 over 3. Let's see if it matches. Down 1 over 1, 2, 3. And I'm on the line. Let's try it again. Down 1 over 1, 2, 3. And I'm on the line again. So it's checking out. So this is the solution for graph letter A. This just gets left blank because it is not a solution. So you can leave that blank. Okay? Let's look at graph B. Our initial value, remember, is where it crosses the y-axis. And where does it cross the y-axis? At the number 3. So our initial value is 3. And if I look down here at my two options for functions, for equations, this has plus 3. This has plus 2. I do not want plus 2 because that's not the same as 3. So this equation is out. Therefore, graph B matches our first equation. Now let's check this plus 2. Remember, 2 equals 2 over 1. What does that mean? Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. So let's check it. Up 2 over 1. And I'm on the line. Let's try it again. Up 2 over 1. And I'm on the line again. So that pattern is checking out. Your job, everybody, is to finish the second page on your own, and then please resubmit this assignment. After you do that, your retake will open up and you can complete that. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.